National Security Advisor Kim Kwan-jin will meet with his U.S. counterpart in Washington this month, and all eyes are on policy coordination on North Korea. Cell phones and family visits become more common in South Korean barracks starting today as officials move to improve life in the military. Will the fruit be ripe enough this Korean Thanksgiving? An early holiday forces an early harvest that may even threaten the nation's rice production. Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Monday, September 1st. I'm Sean Lim in for Luke Clary. The presidential office's national security advisor, Kim Kwan-jin, will visit the U.S. in mid-September to meet with his U.S. counterpart. Attention is being paid to how South Korea and the U.S. will coordinate their policies in the planned meeting, as Pyongyang and Washington have recently made contact.
The presidential office national security advisor, Kim Kwan-jin, will visit the U.S. for the first time since taking office in June. He is expected to pay a 3-day visit to the U.S. from September 15th after the Chuseok holiday. Kim will discuss pending bilateral security issues with his U.S. counterpart, Susan Rice. A South Korean government official says that the key agenda for the meeting will be discussion on the delay of the transfer of wartime operational control from Washington to Seoul. However, Kim's visit comes at a critical time. On August 16th, U.S. and North Korea made secret contact. North Korean Foreign Minister Su-yong will also visit the U.S. this month. He is the first North Korean foreign minister to do so in 15 years. Analysts say that with these changes in North Korean-American ties, South Korea will check if the U.S. has changed its policy towards Pyongyang. Kim and Rice will likely go over policies toward the north as well as the upcoming inter-Korean high-level talks, the resumption of a tour program to the north's Mount Kumgang resort, and the lifting of South Korean sanctions on North Korea.
미북 고위급 접촉에 대한 미국의 입장을 직접 확인하고 대북 정책에서 한미 공조를 재확인하기 위한 것으로 판단됩니다.
With top diplomats and defense chiefs of South Korea and the U.S. scheduled to meet this month and next month, expectations are growing for new political developments on the Korean peninsula.
In a move to improve military life, Korean soldiers will now be able to use communal mobile phones in the barracks. Also starting today, visits by friends and family will be allowed on weekends as well as on the weekdays. Officials say it's all part of efforts to stop abuse and improve human dignity.
Military authorities are to assess a communal mobile phone program, which allows soldiers of the same rank to share a mobile phone. Once the program is instituted, soldiers can call their parents without asking for permission from their superiors. Following a pilot operation in 2 companies, a decision will be made as to whether the program will be expanded to other units. Visits to military bases were previously allowed only on weekends, but now families will be able to gain access to the bases on weekdays as well. The new regulation will provide more opportunities for soldiers to spend their evening hours after completing their daily routines with their families and ensure visits by self-employed family members who tend to be busier on weekends. Even the soldiers at the frontline units won't be feeling so isolated anymore, as civilian visits will be permitted on holidays. Family members were previously banned from visiting their sons serving in units near the border.
우리 군은 모든 장병들의 지혜와 의지를 모아 국민들이 신뢰하는 열린 병영 문화를 정착할 것입니다.
Minister of National Defense Han Min-gu stated that human dignity is the key to free democracy, a value Korean servicemen should defend. He even issued his first commander's letter stipulating that any inhumane practices in the barracks are acts that benefit the enemy. Military authorities have declared today, September 1st, as the first day of a new open barrack lifestyle and are kicking off a month-long open base event so that soldiers' parents can check for themselves how their sons are doing in the service.
Over the weekend, a business tycoon and de facto owner of the sunken Seoul ferry, Yoo Byungeon, was laid to rest, but the investigation into who is accountable for the ferry disaster still continues.
The funeral for Yoo Byungeon took place in a chapel at the Gumsuwon complex in Ansong, Gyeonggi Province. The funeral service began at 10 a.m. on Sunday. A long procession of mourners headed towards Yoo's burial site, which was arranged on the mountain behind the religious compound. Yoo's photo at the head of the procession shows him holding a camera. With Yoo's body laid to rest, the 2-day service came to an end. Reporters were banned from the funeral service held in private. The Salvation sect stated that 5,000 mourners visited over the two-day wake. Immediately after the funeral, some followers publicly stated that authorities had framed Yoo for the ferry disaster in order to appease public opinion. Yoo's eldest son, Yoo Byungeon, and wife Kwon Yoon-ja, and 2 other family members were temporarily released to attend the funeral. They have all returned to jail in Incheon. Now, the investigation into the ferry tragedy is closing in on Yoo's family and close associates. The elder Yoo's second son, Yoo Hyuk-ki, was deeply involved in Yoo's businesses and is believed to hold many answers to the investigation. However, his whereabouts remain unknown. It is not an easy task to prove that the Yoo family are the owners of assets hidden under borrowed names. Therefore, it is difficult for the prosecution to collect their hidden assets. Now that the funeral for Yoo Byungeon is over, other allegations about his illegal activities are likely to be put in the past as well.
KBS has obtained an exclusive video clip of North Koreans visiting their ancestors' graves on the Chuseok Thanksgiving holiday. Most of the traditional customs have been preserved. However, there are some differences compared to how we do it here. Let's take a look.
A memorial service table and a memorial tablet are set up in front of an ancestor's grave. The table is filled with newly harvested fruits, fish, cooked greens, and songpyeon, the traditional rice cake eaten on Chuseok. After completing the ritual of offering a glass of spirits and bowing, a man who appears to be the head of the family digs a hole beside the grave. He buries small portions of the food and covers the hole tight with soil. He then pours spirits over it. After the ritual, the family has a meal by the grave. This is because North Korean families don't hold separate memorial services at home on the morning of Chuseok. There is one more difference. North Koreans bow 3 times during the memorial service. Bowing twice is considered more customary in South Korea.
사회주의식 제사를 지내라고 하면서 간소화했어요. 그러다가 다시 조상을 잘 모셔야 복을 받는다. 절을 하다가 2번은 좀 약소한 것 같고 3번까지 하게 된 게 아닌가.
The video clip vividly illustrating North Koreans' visits to their ancestors' graves was taken 2 years ago and obtained by KBS through a North Korean escapee.
The earliest Chuseok holiday in 38 years has forced early harvests of fruits for memorial services as well. But the frequent rainfalls and the lack of sunshine in August have rendered fruits tasteless and may even disrupt rice production.
This is an orchard in Naju, South Jeolla province, where 20% of Korea's pear produce is grown. However, due to rain, many pears have become black and rotten. Even the paper pouches wrapped around the undamaged pears are full of rainwater. Farmers are busy harvesting the fruit for the upcoming Chuseok holiday, but the current flavor of the fruit is a problem.
과일 자체가 물을 먹고 있기 때문에 당도 면에서 지금 아주 안 좋은 영향이 생기고 있는 거죠.
Naju pears register 12 bricks of sweetness on average, but this year's pears barely yield above 11 bricks on average. A lack of sunshine has made the fruits taste bland. The sunshine duration in August was only 62% that of the previous nationwide level, and only 55% for southern regions of Korea. It rained on average 2 out of 3 days, so crops have not seen much sunlight before harvest. Many of the rice grains of the early cultivated variety have failed to fatten up. Rice flowers also bloomed 5 days later than usual. So this year's rice harvest is dependent on future weather.
햇빛이 얼마나 비치냐, 그 일조량에 따라서 그 이삭, 그 영분 비율, 그 등숙률이 변화가 있습니다.
Weather forecasters predict more rain nationwide this Wednesday and Thursday, as well as many cloudy days throughout the Chuseok holiday. Concerns are growing over the late summer rainstorms which have damaged fruit and rice production in certain regions.
The season of prawns has come back. The fishing of the shrimp is now in full swing in the western waters off South Korea, and fishers say they're happy with this year's big catch.
Fishermen are busy pulling in their nets at sea. The nets are filled with large, plump prawns. Back at port, there's hardly time for a break as the fishermen immediately set to work plucking the prawns from the nets. The catch is so large that collecting the prawns takes longer than it does to catch them at sea.
어업 생활이 한 30년 정도 지난 것 같은데 이렇게 대푼 올해 처음 같아요.
A daily average of 3 to 4 tons of prawns come in at this port, approximately a 60% increase from previous years. With this summer's low levels of precipitation, the salinity of the seawater was kept at an ideal level for the breeding and growth of prawns. Another reason for the bountiful catch is that South Chungcheong province was not hit with typhoon damage this summer. Prawn festivals will be held up and down the west coast in South Chungcheong province, starting with Namdang port. The consumer price for a kilogram of wild prawns is roughly between $25 and $30, 15% lower than in previous years.
싱싱한 새우가 너무 많이 잡혀서 관광객 여러분들이 오시면은 저렴한 가격으로 맛있게 많이 드실 수 있습니다.
Fishermen are rejoicing as their ships return from sea heavy with prawn, a delicious autumn delicacy.
칠발도 Islet in Tado-Hae-Haesang National Park is a natural monument that's home to many marine bird species, but a foreign plant species has recently threatened its habitat. Take a look at the efforts to protect the birds.
칠발도 is a small islet a 2-hour boat ride from Mokpo, South Cholla Province. This scenic rocky islet is a paradise for marine birds. Migratory birds such as fork-tailed petrels fly here from Southeast Asia during the summertime to breed on these rocks. However, over the past 5 years, more than 400 fork-tailed petrels have died each year. The culprit is a foreign plant species called Acloranthes root, which originally grows on the mainland. The birds die because their wings can get caught on the hook-shaped seeds of this plant. To protect the birds, Acloranthes root was removed from the islet by park managers. They planted a sedge variety called Carex butania in its place. And now, the population of fork-tailed petrels has been able to increase. Over the past 3 months, 18,000 sedge plants took root on the island. If these efforts continue for the next 3 years, the islet will become home to a large colony of sedges.
자연적인 부분과 인위적인 부분을 모두 제거하여 철새들이 안전하게 번식할 수 있도록 조성할 계획입니다.
Next year, 칠발도 will become designated as an environmentally protected zone, banning fishermen and their access to the island to protect the migrant birds.
Singer Lee Seung-chul held a concert in the United States along with North Korean youths to wish for Korea's reunification, and a sequel of the movie The High Rollers will open this week. Here's more from the world of show business.
Singer Lee Seung-chul and a group of North Korean youths performed on stage at Harvard University in the U.S. They sang the song On That Day, which conveys the Korean people's wish for national reunification. The song was first unveiled at their performance on the Dokdo Islets the day before this year's Independence Day.
그리고 앞으로 갖고 있는 꿈들을 이렇게 직접 보시면 충분히 감동을 받으시리라 생각했었고요. 계획대로 잘 된 것 같고.
The young North Korean defectors conveyed their hope that the concert would send a message of freedom and peace to North Korea. The sequel to the movie Tacha, The High Rollers, which drew over 6.8 million viewers, is to be released on September 3rd. The movie's plot is based on a cartoon by Ha Young-man. The sequel was directed by Kang Hyung-chul, who also helmed the film Sunny. The film begins with the appearance of actor Choi Seung-hyun, who plays the nephew of the legendary gambler Kuni, who disappeared at the end of the previous installment. Actors Yoo Hae-jin and Kim Yoon-seok, who appeared in the previous film, were cast for the sequel as well. Singer Kim Kwan-jin was a no-show for a concert in Gwangju, prompting some of the spectators to demand refunds for their tickets. The singer was to perform jointly with other singers at a concert on August 30th, but failed to show up. The organizer of the concert is considering paying partial refunds.
Seatbelts in automobiles vary in type and function by how well they can secure your body. Today we'll find out the latest models in safety belts and how to wear and inspect your seatbelts properly. Car accidents are often quite tragic. So we are relieved when we hear news that lives have been spared by wearing safety belts. Not long ago, Korea banned standing rooms on intracity buses. That's because all the passengers must put on their seatbelts. The safety belts in most buses are 2-point belts. But the most common type you see in ordinary vehicles are 3-point belts, a much safer device than its 2-point counterpart.
경주용 자동차라도 좀 강화된 것은 4점씩, 5점씩까지도 있습니다. 따라서 이 점수가 많으면 많을수록 몸을 잡아주는 효과가 있기 때문에 그런 측면에서 점수가 많은 것이 좋다고 볼 수가 있습니다.
Then what is the proper way to strap on a seatbelt?
안전벨트가 안전 성능을 온전히 발휘하기 위해서는 차에 승차하실 때 엉덩이가 시트 맨 안쪽까지 밀착할 수 있도록 앉으셔야 하고 허리띠는 골반에 착용하시고 어깨띠는 어깨 중앙에 올 수 있도록 안전벨트의 높이를 조절하셔야 합니다. 두 번째 방법은 안전벨트를 착용하실 때 안전벨트가 꼬여있는지 꼭 확인을 하셔야 합니다. 안전벨트가 꼬여서 착용하는 경우에 갈비뼈가 부러지는 큰 부상의 위험이 높습니다. 세 번째 방법은 좌석의 등받이를 심하게 눕히지 않는 것입니다. 좌석 등받이가 심하게 누워진 상태에서 사고 발생하면 안전벨트 밑으로 몸이 미끄러져서 복부 압박으로 장이 파열될 수 있습니다.
Here is how a pregnant woman should wear her seatbelt.
2점씩 벨트가 아닌 3점씩 벨트를 매셔야지 사고 시에 힘이 분산돼서 보호를 받을 수 있고요. 허리가 좀 아프신 경우에는 벨트와 복부 사이에 포근한 담요를 넣으셔서 안전벨트를 착용하는 것이 좋습니다.
Many people visit auto repair shops to check their cars ahead of long-distance travel for summer vacation. But not many car owners think of inspecting their seatbelts.
안전벨트요? 아니요, 안전벨트는 점검 받은 적이 한 번도 없어요.
But safety belts should be checked since they tend to wear out and should be replaced when needed. Here's a simple way to check the conditions of the seatbelts in your car yourself.
정상 작동하는지는 내가 당겨보면 돼요.
When pulled rapidly, a properly functioning belt locks to restrain the passenger, while a loose one keeps extending without catching onto anything. It is important to make sure that the belt can not only secure the occupant well, but also releases and retracts easily in emergency situations. If the belt does not rewind like that, a person could be trapped by the seatbelt and be in greater danger.
한 5년 정도가 되면 아무래도 이런 기능들, 기계적인 기능들이 저하될 수가 있어요. 그렇게 되면 한 5년 정도 돼서 이렇게 정상 작동하는 것이 조금 아무래도 미흡하다는 의심이 들면 교체해 주는 것이 좋습니다.
The seatbelt is an amazing invention that has saved countless lives. Don't forget to strap on your seatbelt, whether it be a 2-point or 3-point device. Now we'll take a look at the markets, followed by the world weather. And that's it for this edition of News Today. We'll see you again at the same time tomorrow. Have a great day.